Hello, hello. Welcome to day 3 of Becoming Psychic. Oh, look at that. What is that? Get out of here. I have very curly hair today, so this is what we're going with. I'm so excited about today 3. This hair is very crazy today. All right, just put it to the side. So excited for day 3. I'm calling this day functional psychic abilities. So we talked about in day 1. We're gonna get right into it, you guys. We're not like playing around, you know, because I know a lot of you are catching the replay, so I don't want you to be on here trying to like figure out when the actual course is happening. All right, so day 1, we talked a lot about mirror work and like getting at home in your body. And then day 2 was really about trusting yourself and like trusting your instincts, trusting those gut responses, and really moving towards them every single day, more and more and more, like really trusting the gut more and more and more, trusting your intuitive insights more. And today we're going to talk about something I like to call functional psychic abilities, because we can talk about esoteric things, we can talk about communicating with spirits, we can talk about like very broad subjects when we talk about connecting to source or connecting to spirits. But what we tend to not talk about is functional psychic abilities, meaning how are you going to access these psychic abilities on a daily basis. So day 1 and day 2 really focused on unknown color. So we really talked about, day 1 and day 2 really talked about what you can do long-term to hone these psychic skills. But day 3, we're gonna be talking about some like short-term things that you can do to really tap in, and why it's important to have these functional psychic skills to help you throughout your day. I know oftentimes we think about psychics and we might think, let me go to a psychic so they can tell me when I'm going to meet the love of my life, or let me go to the psychic so they can tell me how to communicate with my ancestors. But what about functional psychic abilities? Meaning when you meet someone and you want to immediately connect with them, how do you do that psychically? How do you connect with someone immediately? We talked about like a little bit about yesterday of trusting yourself and going towards those little pools, little intuitive hits that you get, little psychic hits that you get. But how do we access those truly? How do we just say like turn on the on button and access them truly? That's what day 3 is really, we're really gonna focus on, is how we're tapping into the spiritual side quickly, daily, and the short-term functional psychic pluses to like learning how to tap into your psychic abilities. So this will also, today is like functional, I just like to say functional psychic abilities, because this is what you're going to use to help read other people's energy along with your own. The one thing that I do hear often in the psychic world, and this is what we're going to be talking about today and why it's functional psychic abilities, is I hear often from a lot of people, I can read other people's energy. I just can't seem to read my own. I can help other people. I just can't seem to help myself. I hear that more often than I hear any other problem. I hear that, and then I also hear I'm having a hard time controlling my psychic abilities. So if that is your kind of problem, or the thing that you're questioning, you are having trouble controlling your psychic abilities, and then the second, you are also having trouble leading yourself with your psychic abilities, but you can read others, this is gonna be the day that's really, really gonna help you. So when I hear people saying, I can read other people all day long, but when it comes to myself, I can't even get in. Like, I feel like I can't access anything for myself. It's hard for me to manifest. It's hard for me to tap into my psychic gifts for myself. For others, easy, but for myself, I can't seem to access it. This is why. Because you have not done the work to break down, like you have not done the shadow work. You have not done the work. And this goes beyond trusting yourself. This goes beyond anything like that. This quick and easy way, well, I shouldn't say easy, but quick way to access your psychic abilities for yourself is gonna look like you calling your soul back in each day, and then doing that shadow work that comes up that kind of makes you like feel disconnected from your own self. That's what I find most often when you can't control your psychic abilities. So if you're already at the point of you know you have them, but you can't control them, or you can only access them for other people. It's more likely because your soul has disconnected. And so we want to connect you back to the soul. Go back to day 1 with the mirror work, and then day 2 with trusting yourself. But how do we do this? Like calling ourselves back in and doing this shadow work on a, in essence of like a daily practice, or even like a minute to minute practice where we're doing shadow work all day, every day, where we're doing that healing work consistently, instead of this, what I find like dark nights of the soul, where you're doing this like massive like upheaval of healing. Why aren't we doing this work as it comes through? So this is going to help with your psychic abilities. Here's why I call it functional psychic abilities, because when you are hit with something that you know you're going to need to process, okay? So let's say let me try to think of an experience from my own life, so that we can like really get into this, because I feel like when I have like personal examples of when I use this work, it's really, really helpful. So now I don't know why, like my mind is going blank. I can't even think about it. Oh, here it is. Here's like this functional psychic ability that I use. So I did a reading for somebody a while back, and I asked to, before I got into the reading to do for somebody, it was a mediumship reading, to read for their like past loved one. I just sat there and I just asked, what does this person need to know? Like, what is the one thing this person needs to know? And I got the message, and it made 0 sense. 0 sense to me. Like, I had no idea why I was going to tell this person this. And so I told them. They had no idea why. But this is what that psychic functional ability is going to do for you. If you're not trusting yourself in these random responses, then it's going to be really hard for you to lead yourself into these bigger things because you don't trust yourself. So for that particular experience, I was told something from their loved one that passed away, but you could be told something from your higher self. So every morning, this is how we're going to get our psychic function abilities and work through shadow work daily, instead of a practice that you feel as if it might be really overwhelming, or like if someone's like, let's do trauma work, you're like, I don't feel ready for that. This is going to help you, lead you into that path in a soft, nice way, because it's going to be important that you're doing this healing work, because if you're taking in energy from source, from the collective and all of that stuff, if you're taking it in, eventually, if you're not doing your own healing work, what's going to happen is, like, we only have our body, right? And so once our body gets filled with these pieces of evidence, let's say, it'll get filled to here. And that's when you start to lose control of your abilities, if that's what's happened to you, or you can only read for other people because your essence is totally full and you actually can't access anything because you've got to dig through so much stuff in order to get back into your intuitive gifts. So how do we do that? I would encourage you every single morning to access these like little psychic functional abilities. Every single morning, ask yourself, what is it that needs to heal today? What do I need to work through today? And allow whatever comes through. So this is what I tell. This is an experience that happened to somebody recently. I asked them to do this for themselves, and they realized that they weren't doing that. And so they had one day where they were like, what do I need? And one of the things that they were like kind of calling on was patience, like having more patience. So they were brought in a situation that they needed to access their patience. This is where functional psychic abilities will come in, because if you trust yourself, if you trust your intuitive gifts, if you trust your psychic abilities, then you also trust the universe is going to send you the things to work and heal things quickly and softly, because we don't want to always have our healing journey feel so like our heart is getting ripped out. We don't want to have that feeling all the time. That is not necessary for healing. And I think that that's what happens with a lot of people, is they look at the word healing and they think that it's got to be like, my heart is ripping out and I've got to do this massive like breakdown and I'm in depressed and self-sabotage and all that. You don't have to do that. And so if you ask yourself what needs healing, right off the gate, right in the morning, what do I need to heal today? Take a few minutes, journal on it. And it might be patience. It might be lack. It might be you not feeling enough. And here's what's going to happen is you're going to be guided to something that will have you access that feeling, not feeling enough. And in that moment, you are going to heal it. And this is what I talk about psychic functional abilities, because let's get an example here. I do spiritual hour every Wednesday in my community, and I'm going to be doing it in this community as well. It'll be on Fridays at 11 a.m. So we're going to be doing a spiritual hour here that'll start in May. And so one of the women came on and was like, you know, I was about to walk into work. I wasn't feeling that great. I was like, man, this is going to fucking suck. This day is going to be horrible. Like, I don't want to do this. And she remembered something I told her. Walk into every space as if you're on a journey of finding your most joy, finding your most happiness, finding anything that's going to heal you or whatever. So she decides, she takes a moment, looks in the mirror. Mirror work, I'm telling you, mirror work. Told you, day one, mirror work. She looks herself in the mirror and she says, you're going to do a great job today. Everything that you want is going to come through, and everything that you need, you're going to have. So just walk into work today feeling incredible and amazing. And so she did. And what unfolded after that 2-second conversation, which was healing, that is healing. And that's what we have to do, is give ourselves permission that a 5-minute conversation in the mirror is all that you need to heal not having confidence, not feeling good enough, feeling as if everybody is like out to get you, feeling like you're out of control of your mind. All you need is a 5-minute conversation. Now, I'm not saying that that is like the end all be all, but if you could just take 5 minutes to talk to yourself in the mirror, you would start to realize that your functional psychic abilities will start to come through a little bit quicker. So she talked to herself in the mirror and she said, we got this. We're going to have a good day no matter what. And anything that comes through today is meant for me. It's meant for me to heal. It's meant for me to follow the signs and all of these things. So she walks into work and her life completely changed that day at work. This was actually her last day at this job because she's in a country that's doing like a shutdown. And so she wasn't going to be able to work anymore. And she was concerned about money. She was concerned about all the things, right? When we don't know when we're going to go back to work. And she walks in and she decides that instead of being resentful, instead of feeling not good enough, instead of feeling lack, she decides to feel absolutely abundant. She decides to tap into the frequency of which she wants to tap into. So when you're doing this, if you're tap into the psychic frequency that you want. Okay, so she wanted to tap into like feeling good. Customer walks in. She said, wow, I really like that customer's energy. You know what? I'm just going to tap into that customer's energy. I'm going to tap into their energy field. And she doesn't really know anything about being psychic or anything like that. So you're already ahead of the game. But all she did was just breathe it in. Turns out this person offers her a job. A life-changing opportunity at the end of the meal. Why? Because she decided to open up. She opened up her energy field. She opened up her psychic gifts. She was led to conversations that she wouldn't normally have with people because she allowed her mind to open. This is how functional psychic abilities work. It's not about having these like huge moments of like big downloads. We always talk about that. I got this massive channel and download, and it's like, okay, but you don't have to have that in order to have a life-changing experience. You can take 5 minutes in front of the mirror saying, I will be aware of anything that needs to be healed. I will heal it right away, and I will keep moving. This is what functional psychic abilities will help you with, is the day-to-day activities. So we talked about trusting yourself and trusting those little things yesterday. But when we're talking about really tapping into that field of full spiritual potential, the field of unlimited possibilities, that's the field that you're tapping into when you really hone in on your psychic abilities, is the field of unlimited anything, right? So each day when you're doing your mirror work, I also want you to ask, what am I here to heal today. And what will come through will be things that you probably don't expect. Sometimes I say that. Sometimes I say, what am I meant to heal today? And my daughter will come in and ask me like, hey, can we get a slip and slide? My first reaction is usually, no, I don't really want to go get a slip and slide today. Like, no. But then I listen and I say, give me just a second. And I always tell her, give me a second. I'm just going to breathe for a second. Like she knows the deal. So I take a few minutes and I go, what needs to heal? Because I'm feeling conflicted. I'm feeling as though, no, I don't want to go get a slip and slide, but why? Why don't I want one? And so I take a few minutes. This is what I'm teaching you. This is like your homework. So take a few minutes. I just put my hands on my heart and I go, what needs to heal? Like, why do I feel like we can't do that? And usually I feel pressure in my heart. I'll feel pressure. If I start to feel pressure and contraction, I know that this is something that needs to heal because I should be feeling expansion. Okay, I should be feeling like I'm not trapped in my own body. I should be feeling like I can expand out. And so if I'm feeling contracted, which usually would be similar to overwhelm, anxiety, those type of feelings are going to be contraction feelings. So if I'm feeling contracted, I put my hand on my chest and I say, my daughter just asked me to go for buy a slip and slide. I said, I didn't really want to, but why? Why did she ask me that? And what am I looking to heal here? And I just listen. And I start to feel my body loosen. And I start to feel my body open up from the contraction. And once I start to feel my body do that, I ask again, what is meant to be healed here? And really what is meant to be healed, it has nothing to do with the slip and slide. It has to do with my inability to be able to play. My inability to be able to play with my daughter. My inability to be able to play with myself. My inability to think that play is useful in this world because I was taught that playing was not useful. That playing wasn't something that really motivated us. That playing wasn't something that got you to the next level. That playing was all of the things that I feel myself expanding just telling you guys what this is, right? And so I keep my hand on my heart and I keep saying, why don't I want to play? Like, why don't I want to play? Because it's a waste of time. Because, and this is the functional psychic abilities. This is really what's going to help you. Playing doesn't make me money. Playing doesn't help me in any way. Playing, and I start to think of all the reasons why I don't want to play. And as I'm doing that, I'm proving myself wrong, right? Like I'm proving myself wrong in these negative affirmations, let's say. And I can start to feel kind of like a piece of ice melting off of my heart. And once I start to feel that melting experience, I then start to ask, could I play today? Could it be a possibility that I could play today? I'm asking my higher self, I'm asking source, I'm asking these spirit, I'm asking guides, I'm asking whatever it is that you're connecting to, whatever it is that you're calling in on the collective consciousness through your psychic abilities. I'm calling and I'm bringing it down into my body and I'm asking, why do I feel like I'm saying no to this? Why is this a no? Because I really want to play, but something in me is preventing that. This is what functional psychic abilities will do. It'll help you heal things in the moment. So I actually did this. This is actually a thing that I did when I went and bought my daughter a slip and slide. Is I said to myself, why don't I want to buy a slip and slide for her? Like, what is preventing me from doing that? It's like $20. It's not like this is a big investment. Like, why don't I want to get a slip and slide? Why am I so resistant to this? And it's because that actually, remember we talked about this, I think we talked about it. Hope so. Like the first layer of thought is not your thought. The second layer is probably or the first layer is your thought. The second layer is the thoughts of like your, whoever raised you. So that first layer was like, fuck yeah, it feels amazing to get a slip and slide. I want to do that. But immediately comes in that other voice. Playing doesn't make you money. Playing is a waste of time. And all of those things. And so I say that first voice told me I should go get a slip and slide. All right, so now let's get to the wrap of this story because it's not about the slip and slide. We know that. It's not about any of that. What it really is about is me unfreezing a piece, which is what I talked about before. When we have so much healing to do, it's hard to control the psychic abilities. It's hard to control our ability to read ourselves because we're so full. So we start to thaw out. We start to take apart each piece of us that feels like it can't access these things. It can't access this world of this spiritual world. And as we start to thaw out, as we start to heal in the moment, we start to realize that the psychic hits, the psychic abilities, the intuition becomes stronger. So functional psychic abilities is really your ability to access source, to access God, to access the universe, and ask them, what do I need to heal, and how are you going to help me heal it? So that day, I do remember, I do this kind of like prayer work every morning of like, what do I need to heal? What concept am I trying to kind of like move through today? And it didn't really come through as inner child, but it just came through as like play. And when I went and bought the slip and slide, we set up the slip and slide. I did it. You know, I was like sliding down the slip and slide. I actually feel like crying talking about it because it was so life-changing to play. Because that is what is going to heal that frozen heart, or whatever it is that you feel like is frozen inside of you. That is what's going to heal it. And so day 3, this today, is really about asking yourself, what needs to heal? What needs to come through? And just asking, and then allowing your day to allow that healing to happen. So we aren't asking like, please present to me this massive like trauma. What we're saying is what needs to heal. And that day when my daughter asked me to get a slip and slide, and my immediate answer was like, no, I'm not doing that. No. I had to ask myself, why am I saying no? Like, what is the reason here? The reason was because I didn't think play was useful. Of course it is. We all know play is useful. So what we have to do is really ask ourselves, what am I healing today? And then allow that to come through. Is it patience? And remember, when you ask, what am I healing today? And if you're trying to heal some patience, guess what's going to come through? Things that you're going to need to have patience for. Okay? And then you're going to use your intuition. You're going to use your psychic abilities on how to navigate that through. So what we're doing is we're inviting spirit, we're inviting God, we're inviting universe to send us things that will allow us to use our psychic abilities. This is what really is day 3 about, is using your psychic abilities on a daily basis. It goes deeper than just trusting yourself, deeper than going into those intuitive hits. Now you're using your psychic abilities, you're using your energy to heal things that are inside of your body, to heal physical stuff, to heal energetic things, to heal emotional, to heal mental, anything that's going on in that space. You're asking, I want those to be healed because I want to be able to access these gifts on our own. Our gifts are usually wrapped in a beautiful layer of negative affirmations and traumas. And so we want to make sure that we're like slowly melting that layer away. You don't need to have a dark night of the soul. You don't need to have these like massive healing experiences in order to be healing. It can be a daily practice that's soft and gentle and a beautiful experience. It doesn't need to be these like massive crazy things. And that's what I want to encourage you today, that your psychic abilities aren't just for you to access these really fun things like speaking with your grandma or anything that you would think that like being psychic would be fun for. It's also for you to access your own healing and the tools that you need in order to heal. And so if you ask what needs to be healed today, know that those tools that you need will come through, and it'll be your job to kind of navigate and understand what those tools that you're going to need as you move through. And then your psychic abilities will start to come through more because you won't be filled with negative affirmations and layers and layers and layers of things that need to be healed, because you will be melting that ice. You will be healing slowly, consistently every single day. So that's what I encourage you for day 3 to do, is really focus on healing things as they come through. All right? Let me know if this helps, and I will see you for day 4.